A lot of businesses do discounts badly, and it impacts them terribly. I remember I always love telling this story. I was in Jerusalem, Old Town Jerusalem, one time, and there's all of these little stalls where they sell souvenirs and things. I was looking at something, and this guy said, "Hey, you like it?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, 100 shekels. I was like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "You want to buy it?" I said, "No, no, no, no." And he's like, "All right, okay, 10 shekels." I was like, wow, what a discount. And I never ended up buying from him because clearly what he had essentially demonstrated to me was that this guy tried to pull the wool over my eyes. He was initially trying to rip me off. And therefore the way in which he discounted, destroyed all credibility and ultimately murdered the sale. So believe it or not, a lot of business owners do this. So
Right.
if you discount too much, like a 50% discount is ridiculous. Now I see a lot of information marketers doing that more so than perhaps an
Mhm.
e-commerce seller who wouldn't have those types of profit margins. But you've got to understand that your discount can harm the sale if it's too much, because it signifies to the prospect that the actual value, a couple of things. It tells the prospect a couple of things. Number one, it tells the prospect that the price was overinflated. The actual real value of what it is that you have to sell is nowhere near as valuable as what you led the person to believe. So now the credibility in the product is smashed. But it also tells the prospect that your integrity is very poor, because you essentially tried to pull the wool over the person's eyes. You were trying to sting them for a high price when in reality you would take a much lower price. So you need to be careful in terms of what it is that you're selling, that whatever the discount is that you provide, that discount is within context, that discount is something that makes sense for what it is that you are offering, so that you don't trip those wires, so to speak. It's important that you don't do that.
It's incredibly important how much information the price communicates. Because what that man did by communicating 100 shekels and then down to 10 shekels is he communicated his perception of the value of that product.
Yeah.
And so when you create a massive discount, you are communicating your perception of the value of that product. All you got to do is think about, do you feel safer on an airplane if you buy the ticket for $350 or if you buy a ticket for $35? It really shouldn't matter because what you pay for that one seat really doesn't impact the contract for the maintenance of the airplane. However, it does, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I would much rather be trying to figure out how to sell at a higher price rather than try to be lazy and discount and offer a big fat discount in order to try to get more engagement. And I think that's really thinking through the algorithm of how much discount to offer. So, for instance, if you're an e-commerce business and you happen to be retailing farm raised beef, and somebody is looking at a huge beef roast and it's $250. Well, offering that at a 10 or a 15% discount is a massive discount on a side of beef, and
Yeah.
that's a terrific savings.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're offering some sort of electronic device, maybe you need to go more in the 25 or 30% range in order for that to be an incentive. So it depends a lot on context and it needs to do a little bit of analysis. But what we're going for is something that feels urgent to the customer, but not is something that signals that your product really isn't worth what you say it is.